Buddy, we will go ahead and start for Patrick. Go ahead, Aaron Ladd.
Patrick, we were just talking with Coach Reed, and he said he was still impressed by how Tyreek continues to put in hard work every day and is trying to continually get better every day. I wonder if you could speak to his work ethic and specifically maybe his competitive spirit as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a guy that comes with energy, and he comes with that work ethic every single day. We ask him to do a lot. I mean, you obviously see he's always running down the field, catching these long plays. He's running intermediate routes. He's running jet sweeps, and he wants to take every single rep. I mean, he's out there for every single one of them to get the timing down, runs down there, scores touchdowns, and then he's in the huddle again for the next play. And so you hear about that with all the great receivers, but to see it firsthand, I mean, it's truly a special thing.
We'll go next to Diana Rossini. Go ahead, Diana.
Patrick, this is it for us. This is the last time we get to talk to you. So I know we're still, it feels like a long time away from this game, but can we quickly just fast forward to Saturday night and kind of take us through your routine, what you like to eat, and kind of who do you like to talk to? Can you take us sort of what your Saturday night plans are?
Yeah, they're a little different than they usually are, obviously with the COVID protocols. But for the most part, I mean, you go through your kind of your first 15s, stuff like that. You go through scenarios that can present itself during the game, kind of those last end of game scenarios, and then you just go out there and you're ready to play. And I talk to everybody as much as I can in those meal rooms, even though we're separated and everything like that. Then I get in bed, get a good night's sleep. You start visualizing plays as you get ready for bed, and then it's game time. It's ready to go.
We'll go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Sid, I'll have a follow-up to this. But Patrick, kind of related to what you were just asked, except for I wanted to backtrack what's already happened this week. Can you kind of give us a sense of how much extra obligations you have this week compared to a normal week?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ted and Brad did a good job of kind of spreading it out for me, and we kept it where it was only a couple things a day. But just getting able to talk to the media, getting able to kind of give your input on what you think you can do to go out there and execute. But at the same time, you expect it now. Last year was obviously in person, but you got a sense for what it's like. And this year you get to do it virtually, but you understand what this week entails, which I think will help out a lot of guys in being prepared for the game.
And just as a quick follow-up, I mean, can you give us a sense of what it's like to be answering questions for hours every single day for an entire week?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get used to it, I guess, in a sense. You prepare yourself to go in and try to present the best representation of not only yourself but of the team. And I try to do that every single time and be a good representation of myself and the Kansas City Chiefs.
We'll go next to Jory Epstein, USA Today. Go ahead, Jory.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for your time today. You've spoken about why it's important to you to work in the community and to be vocal about these social justice issues, but what this season are you most proud of accomplishing, whether it's something voter registration or something that you were able to do with the Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. Obviously, the voter registration stuff was huge. Not only getting all of our team registered to vote, but to present it to Kansas City and get voting machines in Arrowhead and show that we support people going out and using their voice. But for me, I think it was just the open dialogue that we had within the team. People from all different backgrounds kind of showing their point of views and coming together and making us even closer. That just kind of is a small sample of what we can do in this country in order to help become more unified and to be better as we want to continue to move forward and make progress.
We'll go next to Danny Welniak, KCTV. Go ahead, Danny.
Patrick, hope all is going well. I have a non-football question for you. Obviously, you and Brittany are getting very close to being parents. Are you concerned at all that you might end up with a Super Bowl baby? And how ready are you guys to embark on that next chapter of life?
Yeah, well, first off, we're extremely ready. We're excited. We have all the things planned out and every single gadget and tool you can have to be great parents. But at the same time, I'm trying to tell her to hold off until after the game. But whenever it happens, it happens. But if we can wait till maybe a few weeks after the game, that would probably be ideal.
We'll go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Patrick, I got two questions for you, man. When you think about the speed that's around you, just how much of a difference does that make for your job? And then secondly, talking to some guys who did not play in the game last year, obviously Juan Thornhill, Alex Okafor, you got a ton of rookies with you. Just how nice is it and satisfying to give those guys the opportunity based on the work you and your teammates have done this year?
Yeah, I mean, to your second question, it's definitely satisfying with those guys like that. I mean, like Juan and Alex Okafor. I mean, they were such big parts of our team last year, and they didn't get the opportunity to play in the big game. And I mean, you never know if you're going to make it back here. I mean, we preach that to each other. I mean, every single day. I mean, obviously we're here for the second straight year, but you never know if you'll get another opportunity to be in this game. And so that's a huge deal, and we're going to try to really not take any day for granted and prepare ourselves to be the best that we can be on Super Bowl Sunday. You got to ask your first question one more time for me again.
Yeah, it's just how much does the speed around you help your job, and just how different is it, even when you were playing in college, right? Just the amount of speed and how much that makes your job and just everybody's job easier on the field.
Yeah, it's a tremendous effect. I mean, it's something that's truly special. I mean, having those guys that are physical, but they're also extremely fast. It puts defenses in dangerous spots. I mean, that when they want to bring pressure, and you see how we do so well against pressures, is because I can get the ball out of my hand quickly, and these guys can make plays happen. And so, I mean, it's something where it makes defenses really have to second guess what they want to do in order to stay on top of guys like Tyreek and McCole and all these other receivers that we have. And it opens up the field for guys underneath. And it's something that really is a big part of our offense.
We'll go next to Ryan Dunleavy, New York Post.
Hey, Patrick, I want to ask you about Damian Williams. Speaking of guys who can't play in the game like last year, Damian opted out. He could have been the MVP last year. Have you guys stayed in touch with him? And when you talk about a guy who had such a big Super Bowl last year and he's not even here this year, is that just kind of the craziness of COVID?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, obviously, he opted out for the right reasons to help take care of his family. And we still stay in touch with him. I mean, was a vital part of this team last year and will be when he gets back. But at the same time, we have to continue to let guys step up and make plays. And I feel like that running back room has kind of really held their own and done great things. Obviously, Damian will be missed, but hopefully we can win this game and have him back next year and have another chance to make a run at it.
We'll go next to Nick Hamilton. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Patrick, congrats on making the Super Bowl again. I wanted to get your thoughts on, you're a huge also a baseball fan. I saw you wearing a lot of Negro League baseball gear. How important is that for you to represent such an important time in our history and sports? And have you been also to the Negro League Baseball Museum there in Kansas City?
Yeah, I have been to the museum, and it's honestly pretty amazing, honestly. And obviously, you want to keep representing that not only for the Kansas City community, but for the African American community that was such an impact in baseball and all sports. And so I try to do the best that I can to really show respect to the people that came before me, that gave me the ability to be playing this sport that I love on the biggest stage of all.
We'll go next to Omar Ruiz.
Hey, Patrick, I heard you mention, about the voter registration campaign and the polling place efforts that you guys helped with. And I know Tyrann Mathieu was a big part of that as well. I'm just curious what sort of confidant he's been for you, or maybe even a mentor in some of the community initiatives, and just kind of how you are as a leader.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrann is a tremendous leader, not only on the field but in the community. And being able to see him work, being able to see the way he goes about being in the community and helping people from all different backgrounds and all different walks of life. I mean, it truly is special to see. And it's someone like you said, that he can be a mentor to me as I continue to grow and mature, and ask him questions on why he does certain things and how he affects different people and how he can continue to make the community a better place, which will in turn help me make the community a better place.
Real quick, Patrick, when's the baby's due date?
I'm not supposed to tell, but it's coming up pretty quickly.
All right. Thanks, man.
We'll go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Patrick, a couple of questions, if I could. First of all, I'm curious. A lot of people say that Super Bowl, they let them play, right? That, maybe the DBs get to be a little more handsy. The offensive linemen maybe get to take a little more liberties. I'm wondering if first of all, you agree with that. And Sydney, we'll have a follow-up. But do you do anything different? Do you guys prepare differently for that style of game?
Yeah, I think you prepare for that style of game, no matter if it's regular season or in the playoffs. You have the understanding of in the playoffs, you want players to make plays, and so that's what the kind of the flow of the game is. But you have to prepare to fight through kind of those holdings as a receiver or on defensive line, trying to get through the line of scrimmage, make it a little tug here and there, because you never know what's going to get called, if it's going to get called or not, and you want to make sure you're trying to make a play regardless, and you kind of let that stuff handle itself. I think we found that out a lot my first year in the playoffs, and ever since then we've kind of known and came in with the mentality of nothing's gonna get called, and if it does, that works. But if it doesn't, we're gonna still try to make plays.
And then I think it was Sam that asked the question about all the media that you do and that you kind of get used to it. Do you go home? I mean, especially since you guys can't really get out and about, right, like you normally would. Do you go home and watch the coverage, or do you just go, oh God, anything but taking a look at all this crap?
Yeah, I kind of stick to watching other things. If I'm not studying different film things or studying the playbook and stuff that we're trying to execute, I'm usually watching anything else other than the media coverage of the Super Bowl and myself. It's more just watching whatever else is on TV. Basketball, Texas Tech basketball, about to be ranked back in the top 10.
We'll go next to Chris Emma. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Patrick, how are you?
Doing good.
What kind of quarterbacks coach is Mike Kafka, and what kind of things does he make you a better player?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Kafka is a tremendous quarterback coach. I mean, he's someone that he came in kind of at the same time as I came in to this locker room, and even before he became the actual quarterbacks coach, he was already had a big imprint on what I did in developing me to be the player that I am, and he continues that. He stays on me. He's someone that preaches the fundamentals. And for someone like me who likes to get kind of away from that sometimes, it's good to have that person in your ear that is just telling you to take what's there, keep your feet in the right spots, make the throw the right way, because that's stuff that I need and stuff that he makes me better with every single day.
We'll go next to Joshua Allen. Go ahead, Joshua.
Hey, Patrick, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Jamel Dean and Vita Vea didn't play in the first game in Week 12. Studying the tape, what problems do these guys present, as well as the defense as a whole, when looking at the matchups?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, two impact players that weren't there last time. If you look at Dean, he seems like he makes big plays all the time as far as intercepting the ball, making big tackles, stuff like that you love to see corners do. And then Vita Vea, I mean, that dude is, I said earlier this week, he's a problem. I mean, he can stop the run, obviously, but he's almost as good at just rushing the passer from that defensive tackle spot, which is it's hard to find, and it's a tough thing to stop. And so to add them along with this already great defense, we understand it's going to be a great challenge for us, but we have to go in with the mindset and the confidence that we're going to do what we do and try to move the ball down the field.
We'll go next to Pete Sweeney.
Hey, Patrick.
What's up?
As you think back to 2018, and you and Andy and coming off being the backup for Alex, I know you guys have done a lot of winning, but as you reflect back, what are you most proud of the program that you and Andy Reid and by extension Brett Veach have been able to build here?
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most proud of is that no one has become satisfied. No one's become happy with winning one Super Bowl championship. I mean, everybody's trying to make themselves better every single day and not trying to take a day for granted. And you don't have that in every single organization and every single locker room. And I think that just comes with the culture that Brett Veach and Coach Reid have kind of instilled in us, and that's to get better at least 1% every single day. And that's why I think we're in this game and we have a chance for another Super Bowl championship.
Thanks.
Let's go next to Cooper Boardman. Go ahead, Cooper.
Patrick, I've got a baseball one too. I'd love to take you back to 2015 and the year that you played with Texas Tech baseball and the one pitching appearance that you had. What do you remember about that one appearance?
I came into the game. I walked the first guy, I believe. hit the second guy and gave up a double, and they scored a run, and then I got taken out of the game. So that was I think I have like an infinity ERA, which isn't probably a good one. Yeah, that's not something that I'm very proud to have on my record.
Thanks.
We'll go next to Jason Dill. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Patrick. I wanted to talk to you about your center, Austin Ryder. How would you sort of describe your relationship with him, what he sort of brings to the table, and has he had any conversations with you or anybody about how cool it is for him to play not only in another Super Bowl, but one that's only an hour from where he grew up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you understand that. I mean, all those guys that get to go back home and play in a Super Bowl game back in Tampa, I know it's going to be really special for them. I call him Reader just because when he first got here, I called him Reader and he never corrected me. So I'm like the only person left that still calls him Reader instead of Ryder, but don't tell him that. He's a great guy. I mean, he's someone that comes to work every single day. He understands the protection rules, the run game rules, and he gets us going in the right direction. And then he's a trustworthy guy in there. I mean, he gets in there, he makes the right blocks and does things the right way. And so we've continued to build our relationship and become good friends as well as teammates. And I'm excited for him to get a chance to play in the Super Bowl back in his home state, in his home city.
Let's go next to Len Jennings. Go ahead, Len.
Hey, Patrick, a two-part question here. Just did you envision last year before the Super Bowl, did you envision that Wasp was going to be his biggest play, was going to be historic for the Kansas City Chiefs? And a follow-up to that is, do you feel like you have other plays that you're kind of excited to use that could be possibly the next Wasp on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, you go into every game with an idea that you have certain plays that have a chance of being big plays in the game, touchdown plays and big chunks. Obviously, I didn't realize that it was going to become like a play on Madden and something that Chiefs Kingdom will forever remember. You go in with an idea of the plays that you like and that you think can execute versus the defense that you're going up against. I'll try not to throw the 2 interceptions to get us in the situation where we need to play like Wall. So I'm going to try to keep it going positive all game long.
Next to Jeff York. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Patrick. Tyreek was talking earlier about, your competitiveness and your desire to be great. I just wondered if someone told you that you could play in 10 Super Bowls and win 6 of them and then walk away at the end of your career, how would you react to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the goal is, to win as many Super Bowls as possible and to be playing in this game every single year. And so I'm going to have that mindset every single time I hit the field, is I'm trying to get back in this game and I'm trying to win it. We don't look that far ahead. I'm focused on this game right now, trying to win this second Super Bowl and be able to hold that Lombardi trophy and have that second ring. If I'm at the end of my career and I have a lot of Super Bowl rings in my hand, I'll be happy.
We'll go next to Clarence Hill. Go ahead, Clarence.
Hey, Patrick, I appreciate you the time. Bobby Stroop and ABEC, how much is what you working out there and forward with Bobby Stroop helped you in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's helped me tremendously. I mean, I've worked out with Bobby since I was in 4th grade, and I feel like I get more athletic and faster and stronger every single year ever since then. It's trained me to push myself even harder every single time I go back for the off seasons. And I think the best part about it is he knows where my limit is, and he'll push me to that every single time. He's not going to take it easy on me any day, and that gets the best out of me at the end of the day.
Let's go next to James Yarcho. Go ahead, James.
Patrick, when you played the Buccaneers before, they did not have Vita Vea, and he will obviously be playing in this game. What kind of wrinkles or problems does somebody like Vita Vea create for the offensive line, and how do you adapt to his style of play?
Yeah, he's a guy that you got to know where he's at every single play. I mean, he obviously is super disruptive in the run game, but he's just as good as a pass rusher. And you don't see guys like that playing that position that can rush the passer like that much. And so for him, he's a special talent, and I'll have to know where he's at every single play in order to not let him disrupt the entire game.
Thanks, Patrick.
Let's go next to Chris Ryan. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Patrick, congrats on the second straight Super Bowl. Want to ask you about, the reason that you play the game. You were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, but do you play the game to be the greatest ever? And obviously looking across the field at Tom, who currently has that mantra, what role do you think this game plays in perhaps your long-term legacy?
Yeah, I mean it's a big question. I mean, for me, I focus on the now, what I can control, and that's going out there and being the best player and the best teammate that I can be on Super Bowl Sunday. And that's gonna take great practices during the week, and that's gonna take the best effort I could possibly give on Sunday. And it's gonna be a great game with two great teams. And if I leave everything I have on the field for my teammates at the end of the day, I'll be happy.
Let's go next to Federico Olvera. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. How are you doing, Pat?
Doing good.
Reading from Mexico City. Pat, is there any quarterback that you saw in your childhood that influenced you in your quarterback style? And from your perspective, what are those things that you think that have made Tom Brady different from other football players, not only the quarterbacks? Things that might have guys such as Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Simone Biles.
Yeah, I think. I mean, to your first part of your question, I watched a lot of guys. I mean, I watched guys like Brett Favre, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Tony Romo. Those guys that can move around and make plays happen. But I also watch guys like Tom. He the way he's able to move within the pocket, get his team into the right play, and then at the end of the day, make the best play for the team to win. It's truly special. And if you look at guys like Tom and Michael and Kobe, LeBron, A-Rod, all these special guys, I think that at the end of the day, you see that their work ethic and their drive to win is just different than everybody else's. And I think that's what makes them special. And hopefully that I can try to do whatever I can to have that same work ethic and drive at the end of my career.
We'll go next to Claudio Gestro.
Patrick, tight ends can be a big part of the game. How are you preparing with them considering the Bucs defense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the tight end that I have, and Travis Kelce, is a special player, and you know that he'll attract a lot of attention versus that Bucs defense. But then at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to find ways to get him the ball. I mean, he's a guy that can make plays. He's a mismatch for defenses, and he obviously has been a huge part of why we're here today.
Let's go next to Pete Gradoff. Go ahead, Pete.
Patrick, you talked about the Saturday night last year. Did you have any nerves at all, or did you just fall right asleep?
I fell right asleep. I mean, I think I had a few nerves. I mean, playing in my first Super Bowl game, came out and didn't play the way I wanted to at the early part of the game. And I feel like having just that one game experience will help me out in this one. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a football game. You're going to have ups and downs. It's about how you battle through adversity. And I'm glad that I get another opportunity to be playing in this game.
We'll go next to Dave Campbell.
Hey, Patrick. Obviously, your ability to avoid or keep the sacks totals down is, a product of your ability to move around, your eagerness to do that. But how much of that goes into being in sync with your offensive line and them sort of knowing where you want to go and how you want to operate back there?
Yeah, a ton of it. I mean, first off, knowing when you're hot, knowing when you're going to have a free blitzer is something that you have to know because you can get the ball out of your hand and to the receivers and let them make plays. And then knowing how to work with your offensive line and knowing how they're trying to protect you and how they're trying to throw guys by you or push them in front of you so they give you another lane to run and throw with. It's something that you have to build that chemistry with. And I think the good part about our training camps is we get a lot of those guys working to prepare for moments like these.
Let's go next to Kelly Hallinan. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, Patrick, I was just wondering, is your approach to this matchup against a quarterback who's been here 9 other times differ compared to last year against an inexperienced team?
Not necessarily. I don't think the approach going into the game. I think the one thing you have to understand is that the game it's never going to be over. Knowing the two teams that are playing, neither team's going to give up until that clock hits 0 and the score is the score. And so I think during the game, just knowing that you're going to have to battle to the very end of the game is something that you have to understand going into this one.
Next, we'll go to Nora Princiati. Go ahead, Nora.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for doing this. So you guys have been really effective as an offense in third and long situations and converting those, which obviously you don't want to be in those situations, but if you can do that, that's great to keep your drives going. Can you just speak a little bit to the mentality of being able to be in those situations, trusting that you can find a way out of them, and kind of what it does to a defense that you're facing when you are able to stay on the field, maybe after getting yourselves out of a situation that they might have started to feel like they kind of had you pinned back there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks to the guys on this team and that never give up attitude. First off, you have to have the offensive line give you time in those third and long situations. You have to have the receivers, which I'm lucky enough to have, that are fast enough to get down the field and get themselves open. And then you just execute. And I think that goes to Coach Reed and the way he runs practice and the way he runs our training camp is he prepares us for those situations. So guys know exactly what they want to do. And we go out there and we try to execute and keep the drive alive.
We'll go next to Heather with NFL International.
Hi, Patrick. Congratulations on your second.
I lost Heather as she was talking there.
Mute.
There we go.
There we go.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
Congratulations on your second Super Bowl. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on all the Mahomes versus Brady chatter that's been going on all week? Brady mentioned in one of his Zooms that Mahomes thinks he can make every play. Do you feel like as a QB, you're supposed to have that type of confidence and believe in yourself, especially going into a big game like Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the chatter goes, you understand why the talk is the talk, and you understand how great Tom Brady is. That it's a big game to play in the Super Bowl against him. But at the end of the day, it's just another football game. And that as your second part of your question, it's a fine line. You want to be able to believe that you can make every single play, but you don't want to have a play that turns bad because you're trying to do too much. And so that's something that I've battled with my entire career. And it's something that I try to execute to the very top of the limit, but never going past it.
Thanks.
We'll go next to Jason Romano.
Hey, Patrick, I wanted to ask you about your faith. I know it's an important part of your life. You come from a family of faith. Can you share how that faith in the Lord and prayer guides you as a football player and even more as a man?
Yeah, I think it guides you as you know why you're playing the game, and you know that obviously you want to win. But at the end of the day, you're doing it for something that's much bigger than yourself, and you're trying to represent something that's much bigger than yourself. And I think having that confidence and having that trust lets you go out there and be who you are and play freely.
Thank you.
And we'll go to Richard Graves next. Go ahead, Richard.
Hey, Pat. I'd like to go back to this issue of leadership if we can. Over the last 12 months, we've seen plenty of footage of you interacting with your teammates on the sideline and the positivity you exude. I wonder if you could just take us through your mentality and where that unwavering, unwilling to be defeated, that unwavering attitude comes from.
Yeah, I think you have to build that with the guys in the locker room. You have to believe in each other so much that things positive happen, and I feel like we have that. We believe that we can battle with anybody, and that we can find a way to win in any type of football game. And I think that comes from not only me, but all the guys on this team, and we support each other to the very end. And no matter what's happened before, we're going to believe in that person the next play.
Thank you, Patrick. That's all for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.